In this course, we're going to talk about building team views and reports inside of a Podio workspace. So the topics we're going to cover really cover three areas. App reports, where we'll build various reports at the application level. We'll talk about workspace reports, how we can roll different application reports up to the workspace level to create a team dashboard. And finally, we'll talk about each user's personal homepage, where you can create your own custom dashboards specific to your data inside various Podio apps and workspaces. So here in my Podio test environment, I've got a couple of different apps. I've got an ideas app and a content planner app. You can see I've already saved some tiles here to my team dashboard. One of them is open ideas. One of them is number of pieces of content in flight. Now, the way I put these together is pretty simple. I can go to each application and I can see here I've got a data table of all of my ideas that have come in. What I can do is I can say, I want to create a filter and I want to see by status, and I only want to see those that are open. So I can save this filter of data. Let's call this open ideas. I'm going to save this to my team view. Let's say I'm going to split this by status. So now that I've got my team view, I can take the next step, which is to create a report. What I can do is I can drop down the report creation button here, and I can create any number of report types. So see here, I've got the ability to do counts and calculate. What I'm going to do is the number of items by status. And for this one, let's say I'm just going to do a very simple bar chart. Now, again, we've only got two pieces of data here, two items. Our report then is, quite simple, doesn't contain a lot of data, but the principle stays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say next, and I'm going to give my report a name, and I'm going to call this open ideas by status. I can choose to give these a unit. In this case, these are ideas. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this to my app reports. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now my report is saved in my application reports. You can always access those reports by coming here to the reports button, clicking, and we can do things like resize, move those reports around as we add them, so on and so forth. So just for fun, let's create another. Let's do count by created on. Let's do a line chart. And let's say we want to know every month how many of these we're creating. Now, again, not going to be very detailed because I created them in this month. So maybe let's move to weekly or daily. Let's click next. And let's call this idea creation by day. Again, we can call this ideas, and we'll save this to our app reports as well. Just like before, I can resize these and build these reports out. Now, let's say, for example, one of these reports is something that we really want to focus on as a team. Let's say we want to focus on the number of ideas being created day over day. What I can do is I can elevate this report to the workspace level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to say add to my workspace homepage. What that's going to do is it's going to bring my report out to my workspace homepage, my activity feed, where now the entire team can view this and access that information all together. Next, let's look at using our personal Podio homepage. So same concept applies. I can leverage different reports and data filters to build out my own Podio homepage. So what I want to do is I really want to see all of the open ideas where I am the approver. So in this case, I'm going to say I'm Zach Morris. So I'm going to say I am the reviewer and approver. And really what I want to know is how many of these open ideas do I have to review and approve at any given time? So in this case, my filters come down to one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a very simple report for my personal homepage. I'm going to count items. I'm going to leave it as none. And what I'm going to say is this is my ideas to review and approve. We can call this open ideas. But instead of saving to app reports or workspace, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, save this to my home page. So when I save that, you'll see now I've come to my personal home page. Each user's personal homepage is always accessible via the Podio logo at the top of the banner, and I can resize this. So now what I can do is I can also add some other things while I'm here. Let's say I want to see, my tasks across workspaces. I want to see my calendar. So we can kind of move these things around. So at any given time when I pop into my Podio homepage, I can come here and I can go right to the one idea that I need to review and approve. Now, we can do the same thing for other applications. Let's say I'm responsible for some of the content in our content planning app. We can see here I'm the content owner. We can do the same sort of thing. So I can say, I want to see all of those where content stage is not completed or canceled. So these are open. What I want to do is create a report. Again, your report can be any number of formats. You can do just a regular count. You can do count by stage, whatever you like there. In this case, I'm just going to do a very simple count by none to keep it uniform. I'm going to say this is my open content. And again, I'm going to save this to my personal homepage. So I'll save that. Again, I can resize, kind of move these things around to get these in the right order that I want. Uh, there we go. So now, again, for my personal homepage, always accessible via the Podio logo, I can see all of my data across different Podio apps or Podio workspaces and apps, and quickly drill right to those items. So it gives me a nice bird's eye view of the work that I'm focused on at any given time. And again, just to recap, if we come down to the workspace and the activity page, any of the reports that we build inside of the applications, we can also surface here to the workspace homepage to be used in a team dashboard format.